Welcome to the Fate of Drakkenheim. This is the Dungeon Dudes D&D 5th Edition actual play campaign. My name is Monty Martin, running the game as Dungeon Master.
And I'm Kelly McLaughlin, playing Sebastian Crow, the half-elf shadow sorcerer, and we're joined today by our good friends.
Jill Denitis playing Veosenia the Tabaxi Gloomstalker Ranger Rogue.
And Joel Gorman playing Pluto Jackson, the Human Battlemaster.
Thanks for joining us again. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more great content from us, the Dungeon Dudes.
You can also watch us on Tuesday evenings when we premiere this campaign right here on YouTube from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also check us out as an audio-only podcast as well.
And check the links in the description below to get onto the Ghostfire Gaming Store, where you can get your very own copy of our first adventure, Dungeons of Drakkenheim, or our other great books set in the world of Drakkenheim. Picking up our books is one of the best ways to show your support for the channel, and you get some great content that you can bring to your home games as well. With that, let's return to Drakkenheim.
Drakkenheim is no more. The devastation which fell upon that accursed place left a kingdom in ruin. Now, horrors lurking in the haze grow ever more great and terrible, while simmering tensions between rival factions boil over into outright war. The power of monarchs, mages, and priests hangs in the balance. 6 unlikely heroes join forces to confront the coming chaos. They shall decide, once and for all, the fate of Drakkenheim.
When last we left our heroes, Sebastian, Veo, and Pluto had journeyed to the Chapel of St. Gresia, which lies on the crater's edge in the south ward of Drakkenheim. There, in one of the most contaminated places in the city, the followers of the Falling Fire conduct the Sacrament of the Falling Fire, which was what allows them to embed a delirium crystal into their chests as an act of devotion to their faith. There, they confronted Lucretia Mathias, and after a heated conversation, Lucretia Mathias refused to back down and give in to our characters' demands, upon which hostilities were initiated, where our heroes gave up the fight, unable to deal with Lucretia Mathias' overwhelming pacifism.
She had such extreme... She was like a toddler that was going through a tantrum and just laying there, and we couldn't get her out.
I think we were the toddlers, actually.
Oh. Are we the toddlers?
We were having a bit of a...
Again, I think it all went according to plan. We have stunted her ability to perform the sacrament. Does St. Gresia have an important role in the sacrament? We did kill St. Gresia. Like, did we cut off a supply chain, quote unquote?
It's possible, but you haven't really found out exactly what that all means. Certainly,
we damaged her.
Certainly, the loss of St. Gresia is probably a setback for the followers of the Falling Fire. Nevertheless, Lucretia Mathias was able to call those angels back, and had quite a lot of allies and reinforcements. In fact, basically the angels that she summoned again and the paladin from earlier were joining her in that battle that you handedly defeated before, but when you had to deal with them and Lucretia at the same time, it seems like it was a little bit too much for you guys to handle.
So it seems the moral of the story is, like, don't leave anybody alive.
Yeah, our mercy was our downfall.
Yeah, we tried to be merciful and kind, and look where it got us.
So the important thing is that the next time we fight a paladin, you eat its soul, and it never becomes a problem again.
And if we fight angels, rip their heads off.
Rip their heads off, and
don't even try to send them back to wherever angels come from.
Yeah, and we keep their halos as bracelets.
Yeah. Like glow sticks, like rave party bracelets.
Nevertheless, Lucretia Mathias graciously allowed you all to leave.
She did.
Yeah, because she wanted to, like, take the high road, you know? She wanted to be like, I don't even have to hurt you. You can leave.
And
like,
it hurt. That hurt more than getting hurt.
Yeah, honestly, everything she did was such a jerk move. I don't like Lucretia anymore.
Yeah, she morally...
With that, you've all decided to try to rob her.
We don't need to take a moral high road.
And thus you have made your way for St. Selena's Monastery, the main stronghold of the followers of the Falling Fire, where having noticed that Lucretia did not have the helm of St. Vitruvio or the reliquary of St. Vitruvio in her possession at the time that she was at the Chapel of St. Gresia, you've decided to investigate and see if these relics are being held at St. Selena's, and if so, where. Therefore, you have magicked up Veo with Pass Without Trace and Invisibility. I suppose your objective here is to send Veo in to investigate and see what is possible. Now, Veo, I did send you the map of St. Selena's Monastery earlier, noting that there are... so St. Selena's Monastery consists of 2 square cloisters abutting one another, and then part of the other buildings consist of the common hall, the abbess's tower, and the chapel itself. And then there is the cloister gardens in the middle of each of the buildings. Now, the followers do have an encampment outside the monastery proper, and so when you're looking at the map of the monastery, and hopefully Kyle can put this up on screen for everyone. Basically, each of those cloisters, what they look like on the inside, there's a colonnade, and the rooftop kind of covers an outer pathway, and then there are rows and rows of small monks' cells that go along the outside. The monks' cells have very small slit-like windows that are usually either long or tall, that just allow a little bit of light in. And you can imagine from the outside, like, these cells are probably very small. And I don't know if any of your characters have been in any of the monasteries before, but like they're often quite sparse in both their furnishings and their decorations. For typically the clergy of the Sacred Flame, at least in Westermar, tend to live a pretty modest life. There is also the chapel of St. Selena. It's smaller than the chapel of St. Gresia, but it is attached to the one of the cloisters as well. It has stained glass windows all around. It is actually mostly intact. It even looks like maybe the followers of the Falling Fire have tried to do some repairs to it. And then towering over the rest of the monastery is the abbess's tower, which is a square tower that looks down upon the rest of the facility. And then there's a large common hall as well, where ostensibly where the clergy would take their meals or do other work and whatnot. It's possible that within the cloisters there are some other rooms that serve some other purposes, such as storerooms, kitchens, scriptoriums, and the like. So from the outside, you'd need to investigate. There's a couple different entrances as well that lead into the cloisters.
And would this be where Lucretia Mathias stays when she's not doing the pilgrimage?
That is a reasonable assumption.
Okay.
If there's, judging by the appearances of the rest of the monastery, give me an investigation check.
22.
Okay, so looking at the monastery, if Lucretia Mathias is staying anywhere here, it is likely that her personal quarters might be in the abbess's tower, because that's traditionally where whoever was the leader of the monastery would have their residence. It's also possible that the chapel also has a series of crypts beneath it, and so if you're looking through both the chapel and the abbess's towers, the tower are probably the most secure locations. In terms of normal defenses, it certainly seems like the followers of the Falling Fire rely on the fact that they are in the deep haze to keep this place safe from other factions. But what they're doing to prevent attacks from... One of the things that occurs to you from scanning around is there's a lot of monsters in this area, and the Hooded Lanterns have the advantage of high walls and fortifications to protect themselves from dangerous monsters. There is nothing like that here. So what the followers of the Falling Fire are relying on to protect themselves from the monsters of the haze is like, how does this even make sense?
Yeah. Okay. So not many guards, not many.
There are guards posted. There are sanctified guards posted at every gate. Some of them have makeshift weapons. Some of them appear to be former paladins or flamekeepers. So each of the entrances and the main gates do have guards posted at each point. So it's not like there's not a lot of people. There's probably hundreds of people here.
So, when we think about where I should go first, do you think it should be somewhere like... I don't think they're going to hide something in plain sight.
I would imagine that the best bet is to search either the chapel or the tower. I've set up telepathic communication.
Yes, so
between
you
the
guys
three
can
of
all
us.
communicate telepathically.
I also think I would like to send Crowley, not to be directly with you, but maybe like perch on some trees or on rooftops to keep eyes on you. Because if you have eyes above you...
What eyes? I'm invisible.
Okay, true, I won't be able to see you. But at the very least, if you cause a commotion and I see people heading towards a building or something, I can then telepathically let you know, hey, there's guards moving here, or just,
We'll try to keep like a base of vision around the area.
How far away does the telepathy work?
The telepathy...
As long as you're on the same plane of existence, pretty much.
Perfect, okay.
So Crowley will just be an alarm system to keep you in notice if any movement or anything suspicious is happening. That way you're at least alerted to it. And we can have open communication through telepathy. Meanwhile, Pluto and I will be in two places at once, I guess. I won't be able to see through my own eyes, but Pluto can wake me up if there's disturbance out here on the road.
And we're gonna hide pretty far away. Like, we're not gonna...
We're in an old ruined building.
Yeah, just hunkered down.
Okay.
The only thing is that maybe we could, from Veo's early assessment, we could like lure some monsters to attack the front gate if we needed to, cause a distraction.
If you want us to cause a distraction, you can let us know.
I'll let you know.
But I think the tower might be a good place to start because
Yeah.
I feel like it's exposed. It might be easy for you to access because you climb.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, okay, less an entrance, more of a scale wall.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to point out something to you, Sebastian. So, in order to see through Crowley's eyes,
Yeah,
it's 100 feet.
right.
This is 120 feet.
Right.
This is
so
a
that,
very large facility. So even even the monastery gardens,
yeah.
there's campments. Like, you would need to be well up to the wall to be able to see through Crowley's
So
sight.
we might not be able to do the extra alarm system.
Maybe Crowley can just perch on a wall above us and
True.
watch.
Yeah.
We can just at least see. Like, we have like a cheap.
Crowley will just be up in the air flying to see if he can see it.
So here's what I'll say, just for frame of reference. You're probably, in order to keep out of sight, given the number of people that are around here, for
safely.
safely, you're probably anywhere from 300 to 500 feet away from the edge of the cloister itself.
I might
So
as
Crowley
well.
is just we're just petting him.
Yeah, I'm just hanging with Crowley.
Yeah.
At this point, I might. Yeah, if that's the case, then I might as well just be my own eyes with you.
Yeah, we're just gonna sit in a ruined building.
And we're gonna just keep our eyes on the situation out in front of the abbey.
Okay.
Well, and just a few things to remember about Veo. She has alert and she's invisible in shadows. 2.
Yeah, and we are telepathically connected, so just let us know if you need help.
Oh, and I'm playing a simple game of cards with my ape.
Okay.
My biggest.
Thanks.
You can all roll me a
You can
d6.
join us.
What are we playing? 5.
2.
Pick up the cards. 2.
Okay.
I'm going to leave this open for you.
Oh.
Sure.
Good luck, Veo.
Like, no. Okay.
And remember, if you need help, it's probably going to take us a solid minute or 5 to get to you.
Sebastian, give me a perception check.
Unless we teleport.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're in the deep haze.
Perception?
Yeah.
16.
Okay. Sebastian, as you watch the monastery, one of the things that you do notice is that there are a few contaminated creatures that are in the region. And one of the things that you have cited is a few of those contaminated vultures that people tend to call scratches. And as you watch the monastery, you actually notice how these contaminated creatures, like, there's a lot of places that a bird would love to perch along the monastery. But there aren't anything coming anywhere near.
All communication right now is telepathic, just for the sake of stealth, but guys, I think that there's some sort of magic field around the monastery that we should be aware of. I don't know what sort of magic field. It might just be protective, but I imagine with all the I'm gonna make an educated assumption here, and you can help me on whether that makes sense or not. With all the people moving in and out, which includes people who both have delirium in their chest and don't, I would imagine that a protective field would not be able to differentiate Veo from a pilgrim.
Give me an Arcana check.
20.
Okay. From your interactions with the Falling Fire and your experience in Lumen, one of the things that is often done to secure holy sites of the Sacred Flame are 2 powerful spells: Forbiddance and Halo. These spells were the spells that were in effect in the when you were back in Lumen.
Yeah.
And from your recollections, these spells can both prevent aberrations, celestials, elemental, fae, fiends, and undead from entering these grounds, or even deal damage to them by entering.
I'm not going to be able to go in there.
What you do recall, however, from your interactions with the followers of the Sacred Flame, is that the anchor point. One of the things about these spells is that they can normally be dispelled with dispel magic. And so one of the safeguards that the members of the Sacred Flame do to prevent this from being done is they anchor the spell on the braziers in their chapels. So if the flame is not lit, these defensive wards would go down.
Also, okay, is dispel magic a ritual?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, continuing to talk to you in your mind. If you want to, I'm not going to be able to go in there unless you dismantle the braziers, and also dismantling the brazier. If I would use it as a last resort, but it's going to cause some issues for all of the people there, which honestly, if we get the helm and if we find the helm and phylactery, it might actually be in our best interest to dismantle the braziers as well. Because if we do that, taking down their stronghold and exposing it to the deep haze and the monsters in the area We're here to dismantle the falling fire, and we shouldn't lose sight of that.
One of the things that you do know about both the Halo and the Forbiddance spell is that Forbiddance in particular is the one that like kills creatures that try to enter the area. Is that if it's likely that Lucretia Mathias has put it in place permanently because she's been here for over a year. So making the Forbidden spell permanent takes 1 year of work and thousands of gold worth of material components. So
can that one be dismantled as well by removing the braziers?
Yes, and then it would take it takes 30 days to make Forbiddance permanent. You have to do it every day for 30 days in the same location, and it's a ritual. So like it has to be done every day for 30 days. So in order for them to like put those wards, like Lucretia Mathias, if she was the one that put the wards up, which she probably is because she's the only one powerful enough to do it, it would mean that in order to protect their stronghold, Lucretia Mathias would now be occupied for at least a month trying to just protect their, like she could put the ward back up temporarily, but then like what I'm saying that is that it's possible the followers of the Falling Fire could survive the ward going down for a day.
Yeah.
But then in the aftermath of that, it would require Lucretia Mathias's entire efforts to reinstall the ward. It would take her a month to get basically.
I think Veo, whether or not you find what we're looking for, in the worst case, if we are at a loss of where to look and things are getting dicey, dismantle the braziers, and what that actually creates is an opportunity for in the panic and confusion, we have a chance to all three of us go in and kind of scour the area while everybody in there is dealing with monsters.
Confusion and darkness.
Yes.
They hate it.
The question is, yes, do we do that first? Is that the goal?
I would say that's up to you. If you want to take a scouting look first to see if you can find them, because obviously once the panic starts, things are going to be a little more messy. I would, and you can argue with me on this, but I would say that if you were to somehow find the 2 items we need before causing the panic, that's a cleaner escape for us. But if you are having trouble,
just put the braziers out.
Just put the braziers out. But
and
also,
can I do that without magic?
I think could she just like knock them over?
It's
like
possible.
Dismantle
yes, that she
them?
can destroy it.
Cool.
Yeah.
But also, to be my own devil's advocate here, the more time that we waste not performing that task could be detrimental to us. So I would love to hear your thoughts.
I think, okay, seeming. Would it be better if we caused the ruckus for you to get in here with seeming and be able to search?
After the braziers go down.
After the braziers go down.
I won't be able to walk in there until the braziers are down. So maybe
So
this
get
is
the
Operation
braziers
Dismantle the spells, because then those scratches are going to attack.
Yep.
Do they look like they wish that they could get in there? The scratches, are they like circling around the...
It's possible that any of the monsters that are in this area know now that the wards are here, and they wouldn't necessarily know that just don't go there bad. Like they don't have enough understanding of what's going on, so they might need to be incited to attack.
So your guys' job.
So I have an idea based on that. What if
we're gonna get
Pluto Jackson monster bait runs through the city, banging pots and pans, get a big old group of monsters chasing him, and we time it so that when you break down the braziers, I show up at the front door with just like a big old mess of stuff. No seeming required. I walk right in because there's
No, this is gonna work. I'll be with Pluto, helping him rile up.
This is Project Mayhem 2.0.
Yeah, this is Lumen all over again. We've learned a lot from Lumen.
Pluto and I are going... Okay, we're bringing the party to you. Your job is to dismantle these spells, and we are going to take down this stronghold. with a horde of monsters.
Yep.
We're going to find as many monsters as we can, and we're going to
all
run.
different shapes and sizes.
I trust that as soon as you put down the braziers, I'm going to head towards the tower.
It occurs to the two of you in discussing this
Yeah.
that the monsters that are nearby have been somewhat thinned out by the followers of the Falling Fire, although it's still a dangerous area of the city. But not far from here is the crater, which would have much more dangerous monsters.
We got worms that are.
Yeah, is there a well-known
Wait. Can
big
we ride?
monster?
Can we ride crater worms?
Crater worms!
You know, get some hooks, stand atop the crater worms, ride them into our
Don't you
enemies.
still have Dominate Monster?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
I have a new goal in D&D, and I just want to say it out loud. I want to ride a crater worm into my enemies.
Yes!
Just throwing that out
That's
there.
what's happening.
Okay. This is what's happening.
So, step one, we won't get ahead of ourselves. Step one, Veo.
Yep.
I want you to try the best you can to see if you can locate the items we need.
Yep.
Same for Truvio's helmet, the reliquary, and potentially the bones of Azrael. But
They're in the cathedral, like elsewhere. The bones.
in this cathedral here?
Or
No,
we
they're in
assume
the big cathedral where we fought the Lord of the Feast.
Okay.
Unless they move them.
That would be tough.
That'd be unlikely.
Unlikely
Okay.
that they would move
Okay,
the
so
bones.
let's start by
So-
seeing if you can locate them. Because all this sort of hinges on... Because if they're not here... I mean, of course, taking the stronghold might be important.
I think no matter what, taking the stronghold is valuable.
I feel like you're blinded by...
Wanting to ride a...
Yeah, you
No, okay.
It's very thematic.
Dismantling our enemy's stronghold is
gonna be important.
is a win.
Okay.
And we need to start realizing, like, Lucretia Mathias is our enemy, and we need to beat her.
And the mercy she showed us will be her downfall.
Yep. We're gonna show her.
Never show people.
We've learned that, and she's gonna learn that
Yeah.
real hard.
This is a dark world. This is a dark world.
There's no room for mercy in Drakkenheim,
We'll
baby.
show you what happens when you give us mercy.
We ride crater worms into your house.
None.
So let's start by... Okay, fine then. Just go... we can always search when everyone's dead.
Yeah.
They're a lot easier to search.
Yep.
Okay, let's find some braziers and knock them over. Now, is it from what Sebastian knows about these spells? Is it enough just to like tip over a brazier to dispel this magic? Or
No,
are we
no,
need
it's
to-
gonna take more than just put. And also, you've seen braziers like these before. These are not like little like. These are not things that you just push over. Like maybe they're a thing that Pluto is strong enough to push over,
But not there.
but not Veo.
What? Okay, from my understanding of like casting the spell onto a brazier, what would it take? Because like Veo isn't magical enough to de-magic them, are you?
Do I just have to put out a flame?
And do we know this? That's what.
Let me put it this way.
To destroy.
A combination of approaches is probably going to be the way to do it. It's unlikely to be something that could be completed in a single action.
But is it something that only Vic? Because we might not be able to go in.
Do you have polymorph?
I do.
Can you put it in my ring?
Yes.
I could be a giant ape. Do I have to be quiet about this part once I find them?
I mean,
Are they all together? They're probably not all
is
together.
what puts out the light? Darkness, right?
Could I put the darkness spell in her ring, and would that?
But how many times would I have to use it?
I can. Darkness is a second level spell.
But there's probably multiple braziers, right?
Non-magical light can't illuminate it. This is probably magical light, or is it?
If any of the darkness spells area overlaps an area of bright light or dim light created by a spell of level 2 or lower, that other spell is dispelled. Halo is a 5th level spell, and Forbiddance is a 6th level spell. Normally you can't upcast darkness, but there's the brazier and the 2 spells. If you want to use a 5th level spell slot to cast darkness, or if you want to, basically I'll say that in this case, I will allow you to upcast darkness to function like dispel magic.
Okay. So...
For the purposes of being able to turn off like these lit torches, not like a true dispel magic, but like a dispel magic in this world of like shutting off these braziers.
The opposite of the light.
Yeah. How many...
darkness. It's your darkness.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you my shadow.
Okay.
And you're gonna use that shadow to infect their light.
So what I have to do, how many times do I have to use it?
I have 1 5th level spell slot, so...
Can I move darkness?
No. You can cast it on yourself, and then...
So here's what I'm saying. In this case, the effect of the darkness spell is gone, and it is completely operating like dispel magic.
Okay.
Right? I'm just
how many points of emanation can I detect from these? Like, is it a singular point?
What I'm saying is
I'd have to scout.
She'd have to scout it to determine that. So it's really a case of like and her ring of spell storing will only fit 1 5th level slot.
Yeah.
So
So
the big
even
one.
if there was like 4, let's say, I'm just guessing,
So,
like 4.
Yeah, if
you
there
know?
were multiple braziers, we're at a loss then, and this plan doesn't...
Exactly.
Again, from the way that you recall, typically the brazier that is lit in the chapels and cathedrals is the locus point. It is typically 1 brazier.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
We can.
Well, we can hope.
So do you want to put it in my...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm giving you the power of my shadows to overwhelm their light.
Does my ring turn dark?
Oh yeah,
I will
and it's like
cast the
misty shadows.
this invisibility on you, so you don't have to concentrate on it.
Is
Can you
darkness
give me-
concentration?
Sorry.
Darkness is concentration, right?
It is. It is. But in this
It's just gonna
case,
happen.
It's gonna just expel the light.
yes, basically don't even bother looking at the darkness spell. It right now, for this purpose only,
Yeah.
Sebastian's darkness spell is functioning exactly like the spell magic.
Okay. I guess what I'm
Yeah.
just functionally thinking is like...
If you wanted to cast it for the darkness spell, that's fine. But then you would be using it for darkness and not for the dispel magic purpose.
No, more I'm thinking I have Pass Without Trace that I'm concentrating on, so if I do it, is my Pass Without Trace gone?
No, because dispel magic, because again, I'm saying that in this case, I'm going to treat the casting of darkness as all respects as if it is dispel magic, but only for that purpose. So like, if you run into some other thing, like someone's polymorphed, it's not gonna work that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this is just to basically dismantle the brazier spell, and that's its only purpose.
Do you have any other 3rd level spells you can give me in my spell storing ring that might come in handy?
3rd level spells?
Yeah.
Do you want to animate some dead? Counterspell? Hypnotic pattern? Summon a very sad version of yourself?
Hypnotic pattern could come in handy.
You want a hypnotic pattern?
Give me 1.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. So, we don't have time for a rest. I'm gonna take a potion, just in case.
Now, Veo, we will be in constant contact with you. We are going to head towards the crater. We're going to find some awful things and bring them on back.
Okay. Please let me know when you have that awful thing, so that way I can make sure. Again, I think if I do the brazier, depending on how much time it takes, there's no way they can put it back up, so it really doesn't matter when you guys come with that, does it?
You may want to get information before these two commit.
To that.
We'll
to
start
that.
heading to the crater, but we won't stir up a crater worm.
And just bear in mind that if these two are heading to the crater,
We're splitting the party.
it
split.
is splitting the party, and so it could take you upwards of half an hour to an hour to get back to the monastery.
What if we're riding a crater worm?
That would make it faster, but if Veo is in trouble, like, it's still minutes, not rounds, that you're going to have to get back.
I'll scout it.
Let's start with scouting.
And
Just start scouting.
we
And then we'll make a
will-
decision from there.
At some point, guys, to get done what we need to get done, we gotta roll the dice and And
I think we got to trust each other. And if we're going to take down our enemies, we need to go big.
Yep.
Do you feel isolated or capable, Veo?
I feel capable. I was just thinking, I can't remember the last time I was alone in Drakkenheim.
Oh, that makes me so sad.
But hey, 15 years of it. I got this.
Okay.
Worst comes to worst, what do we know I'm good at? Running away.
The fact is, if it is going to take us like half an hour to get to the crater's edge, then we actually should start moving, because
I'm already running.
Cool.
Just do it quietly, because you don't have me to guide you along the
I'll
way.
guide us back to the crater.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna, under the invisibility, pass without trace, I'm gonna slink my way to find the brazier and get some information, and I'll relay it back as quickly as I can.
We also don't have a neutralizing field up right now.
You two don't?
No.
Okay.
I had it on my ring.
I can cast neutralizing field. What level spell is that?
It's a 5th level spell.
Oh, I can't cast neutralizing field. I'm out of 5th level spell slots.
Well, you could use a higher level slot to cast it if you wanted to.
All right, we have a neutralizing field.
We also,
Nice.
I guess, do we still have the Expergo or no?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least you have that.
No, wait, it's probably been an hour since the...
It would still be in effect.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Veo,
Yes.
talk to me. Tell me how you're going to go. How you're going to proceed. Where do you want to go first?
So I want to...
We assume the brazier's in the chapel.
Yeah, I want to check out the chapel first, and I just want to find either whether that's... Can you tell me if the roofs... Sorry, what time of day is it?
Well, it's starting to get nightfall, because remember that she was going to perform the ritual at dusk.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're under cover of darkness at this point.
Yay. Okay. So essentially, I want to...
Yeah, the aurora's coming up. So at this time in the night, the mists of the deep haze tend to fade and get replaced by the eerie octarine lights as delirium starts to glow, and the darkness takes hold instead.
Aren't you like invisible in darkness?
Yeah. But I'm invisible anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm invisible, I'm quiet. I mainly just want to find a spot on the building where I can shimmy up and get to the roof over to the chapel.
There's a lot of places where you can go on the roof. So again, looking at that map, you just need to tell me what part of the map you want to go up first.
I think I'll focus on like the southwest corner, like near the chapel, and then I want to get onto the chapel.
Onto the rooftop of the chapel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I assume there's like windows and stuff that...
Alrighty. What is the lowest you can roll on stealth right now?
38?
Okay.
I have a plus 18. I can't roll lower than a 10, and I have a plus 10 from Pass Without Trace.
Okay. So you effortlessly make your way up onto the roof.
Shadow in the night.
Just a minimum 38.
I might as well be a gaseous cloud.
Yeah,
You're
pretty much.
cartwheeling,
Yeah.
and no one can hear you.
Okay.
I'm singing my own theme song, and they don't even...
And you do have a climb speed as well.
Yes,
so
I
you
do.
silently clamber your way up onto the rooftop of the west cloister. Okay. What you can see is that as it is night, many of the followers of the Falling Fire are actually starting to go to bed for the evening. Okay. So looking through this as you climb up one of the roofs, like you look inside one of the cells, and again, I'm using the word cell because technically I believe that's what a monastery cell. Like it's not a prison cell, but it might as well be in terms of the way that it's.
It's a prison cell with an unlocked door.
Yeah, right. Most of the rooms have straw bunks, and in some cases there are 4 to 8 people sleeping in what it basically amounts to like a 10-foot by 10-foot room. All of them are sanctified by the Falling Fire. You feel the ward kind of do, like, you feel it in its effect. And as you enter into the area. Obviously, it doesn't affect you, but you definitely feel the presence of it, similar to the way that you were in Lumen. So, as you see, this is sort of like what this represents is one side of the square of each of the cloisters here, right? So you can kind of imagine that this is duplicated 3 more times around to complete what each cloister would look like, and so you've sort of clambered up, and one of the other things that I'll just say for a sense of scale is that like these rooms are 20 feet by 20 feet, but in reality, there would actually be twice as many rooms, and they'd be half the size of this as well. Okay. Right? Yeah, just
it's a big place.
With Dwarven Forge, it's really hard to build a 10-foot by 10-foot room. So like 20 foot by 20 foot is kind of like the smallest you can build.
D&D in general, I feel, uses a large room scale that is unreasonable, but what can you do?
Right. So you clamber up onto the rooftop. The chapel is not that large. It is significantly smaller than the Chapel of St. Gresia, but you can see within from here, like although the gardens in the middle of the cloister, they have several large but dead trees growing up from them. There's great fountains and sort of a path, a gravel walkway that leads through, and there's a few followers of the Falling Fire that they're carrying torches and they're walking the cloister in a patrol, and there's a few others about, and you can see that there is illumination from within the abbess's towers, and there's illumination from within the chapel itself. In fact, all chapels of the Falling Fire, usually the center of the dome is a chimney that allows smoke to escape. Right? Usually there are several chimneys because often the chapels have so much flame happening inside them. Yep. And so right now the chapel is sort of glowing in the night.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I could use potentially one of those chimney holes to like look in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna approach one of those.
Okay. So you head up to the climbing onto the dome. And the central chimney of the dome, there's a plume of smoke rising up through it. So you want to look. So it makes it a little bit challenging here because you're basically looking into a smoking chimney.
Oh, okay. Are there? You said there's multiple chimneys though potentially.
There are. The central chimney is the only one that would be large enough for you to fit through. Right? The other ones are more smaller exhausts than anything else.
Okay. I guess thinking about even the chimney, like how, I guess I wouldn't know. Okay, I guess I want to go maybe potentially like off the roof down the side to see if there's a window that I can kind of like peek over.
There are windows. They're all stained glass windows.
Okay.
But roll me a d6.
2.
Okay. One of the stained glass windows is slightly cracked. You suspect that if you were careful, you might be able to gently push one of the panes of glass out to get a view in with a successful sleight of hand check.
Yeah, I could try that. I think. Yeah. Okay. I guess I can't roll lower than a 22.
Okay.
26.
Okay. You very gently push one of the panes of glass out and peek through into the chapel.
What do I see?
Okay. So, Veo, as you look into the chapel, roll me a d6.
4.
Okay. All right. Looking through the window, you see that the small chapel of Saint Selena has, much like all chapels, you can see that there is the doorway leading down to the crypts below. and it is a very small and modest chapel overall, mostly meant for the private worship of just a few very devout members of the Sacred Flame. Nevertheless, it is well appointed and decorated with an intricate floor mosaic and several reliquaries and other decorations with the stained glass, showing the devotion to Saint Tarna and the stories of many of the saints and devoted individuals that lived in Drakkenheim. There is a central brazier around which the followers of the Falling Fire have collected and very neatly placed what appear to be trinkets, personal effects, and very carefully prepared bits of bone. And as you step into the room, you can see that there are, first, standing guard in this room are 4 sanctified knights that are at the 4 corners of this room. And there is another woman in this chamber who looks like she might have once been a flamekeeper until she took the sacrament. Mm-hmm. And also entering into the room with her are 2 other acolytes, and they have with them. They come in to the room, and the knights nod, and the acolytes produce. As you watch, the acolytes begin to incant a prayer in front of the braziers, as the flamekeeper kneels before the flame and unwraps a piece of cloth, and the others bring up several boxes. And what you can see is that in what she's brought out are several sanctified delirium shards, and the others have brought out the remains, the ashes and bone fragments of those individuals, and they are performing the funerary rites for these people. And so, as one by one, the acolytes take up the bone fragments and ashes, and they gently place the bone fragments around the brazier, scatter the ashes into the brazier itself, and the flamekeeper, she holds up the golden shards and speaks the name of the individual contained within, and then places it back down again, and then places it back down again. As she finishes, she continues the rite. Is there anything that you want to do, or do you want to continue watching?
I want to continue watching. Yeah, I want to try to see if there's some sort of how long it takes, what's the timing. I know these guys are going to be a while getting to the crater, so I'm just trying to find what's the opening for me to find my way in. Just time-wise, I guess.
Okay.
Stealth is not quick.
And neither are we. So you have a little bit of time, I think, before we make any progress.
I guess.
How's it going, Vale?
What I'm also thinking about is ways that I'm going to get to the brazier to actually do what I need to do. So I'm kind of thinking through, okay, is it something that I'm going to drop down? Do I need to get in and climb down? So I'm just kind of thinking through what my plan is as they're going through, while just watching what the guards are doing around, as well as the rite. So I'm really just trying to take in as much as I can about what are the walls made of? What are they doing? What's the process here? Do they switch guards? Things like that.
Okay. Right now, any changing of the guard has probably already happened.
Okay.
So in terms of patrols, you can see that they're patrolling around. So do you want to divert your attention away from watching what's happening here to look at other things, or where do you want to keep your focus?
Here.
Okay.
Yeah.
As she finishes the rite, the paladins kneel, and everyone in attendance kneels, and the flame flickers again for a moment, as you hear heavy steps coming up the stairs from the crypt below. And the door opens with a flare of light as a tall, angelic woman steps out from the crypts below. And the Flamekeeper bows and says, Archangel Zariel, we entrust the fallen to you. And the angelic woman, awash in power and majesty, like even you've seen the other angels and the Planetars that Lucretia Mathias summoned previously, and the other archangel that what you were in the presence of an archangel.
Holy moly!
And the angel takes the delirium shard, the sanctified delirium shards, and gently, as if caressing infants, takes the shards down to the crypt below.
Hey guys, I got good news and bad news. Bad news. There's an archangel here, like bigger and badder than the last ones. They're very.
I'm pretty sure if
Right.
that thing looks at me, I die.
Yeah. Yep.
Its holy aura just melts you.
Good news, at least for you, Sebastian. They're taking the sanctified delirium downstairs, so I bet you there's a bunch of snacks for you downstairs.
Cool.
Just think.
I will raid the kitchen
Yeah.
once.
Kitchen crypt.
As I
The
would.
kitchen crypt.
In fact, as the Flamekeeper speaks to Zariel, the angel says, 12 more. How many will rest below? And you can kind of put together, this is where the followers of the Falling Fire keep all the sanctified delirium.
All of it.
All of it.
This is where they keep their fallen. This is their hoard, I guess, of where they think, I don't know, if the world ends, that this is what's happening. This is the place. Ground zero.
So this is Operation Mayhem 2.0. We're going to steal all of their gold delirium. We're going to dismantle this stronghold. And just a quick question, Veo. Does the Archangel look an appropriate size to still be eaten by a crater worm?
Yeah.
Great,
Yes?
great.
Maybe, but if anyone can take on a crater worm, it's probably an archangel.
What about a crater worm and 3 of the greatest heroes in the world?
Maybe, but yes.
All right,
I get a confidence in ourselves, yes.
we'll do our best.
She is...
But you know, Veo, if you can just take care of the Archangel before we get there, that's
You
great.
just deal
Yeah.
with that.
All right, over and out.
The
I mean, you can still talk to me.
Just like, goodbye.
with that, the archangel departs and returns down to the crypts below.
Okay, so, just so you guys know, she's...
However, roll me a 1d6.
Don't let me down. 4.
Okay. Although you are masked by illusions, doesn't seem like the archangel noticed your presence.
Okay.
Because if anyone could.
Okay.
Any sign of the helmet or the reliquary?
Nothing yet.
Okay.
I know where the brazier is. I know how I can get in. Should I look for the helmet? Or the reliquary?
How much progress have we made?
I'm going to focus on Veo for now.
Okay.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, Veo, I'll put it on you. Keep if you want to keep looking. If you think there's other, could there be other sources of the magic emanation? Or it's likely this.
I think it's here. I think. And do I know how long it will take me to put out this brazier? Like using this spell? Is it instant that it would put it out?
It's going to take you more than one round to dismantle this. Likely what you will need to do is scanning it over, give me an investigation check.
22.
Okay. You will need to do a combination of some kind of physical interference. So physically dousing the fire or knocking it over in some way, then sealing it with the spell. So you will need 2 rounds to do it.
Physically, how big is the brazier?
It is almost 5 feet wide, and it is made of granite and filled with like charcoal and delirium and ashes.
Would you say it's the size of a small campfire?
No.
Okay.
No. It is not. A cantrip is not going to do the job.
Maybe you could find
No. These braziers are like. These are like massive bonfires.
Could it be
Yeah.
doused and put out by a very very helpful magic carpet? Could you smother it with
Yes.
a magic carpet?
Yes, that would destroy the carpet, but it would also douse the flame.
Perfect. We get 2 birds, 1 stone.
We can't kill. What's his name?
Casper.
Casper.
You didn't even know his name.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen him very much. I wrapped myself in him earlier.
Look,
but...
he's a tool, like a butcher.
Okay, that's rude.
Or
We didn't help him overcome his fear of flying just
With
to
that
burn
rite
him.
complete, the Flamekeeper and her acolytes depart the chamber, leaving the knights as the only guardians in this room.
think.
Two other questions that I have is there any source of water around?
Yes. In the center of each of the cloister gardens, there are fountains and wells. And along the sides, actually, one of the cool features of the Abbey of St. Selena's that you've actually heard before because you are a native to Drakkenheim is that the water fountains along the cloister actually produce carbonated water.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Sparkling.
But there are actually also there are wells in the center of each cloister,
Also,
which the followers of the Falling Fire actually are using the water because they don't mind that it's contaminated.
Can I ask you a question, Theo? Do you have anything that can? Because we don't necessarily need to put it out with like water. What if you put it out with like a bunch of like dirt or sand or something else that could smother the flame? Like, do you have any way of what other kind of cool hidden magic items do you have?
I have a bedroll.
A magic bedroll?
No, just a bedroll. Like I do have shape water, but I know it might not take me one go potentially. So, but other than that, it's.
What do you have? Anything that can?
Mold earth, but again, a cantrip's not going to do it. And I'm not there.
Yeah.
But if we had to meet up with Veo,
Would you? You are still in position.
Yeah.
Roll me another d6.
5.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to investigate around instead?
Yeah, I think for now, while I think through how I want to approach the brazier, I do want to go.
How long does the invisibility last?
An hour?
1 hour,
Okay, roll me 2d10.
right? Regular invisibility is 1 hour until you break
Yeah.
it.
2 and 3.
Okay, so far it's only been 5 minutes.
Okay. Because the only other thing I'm thinking is like maybe I can look into some windows of say the other tower and just see if there's any.
Actually, I'm gonna add 10 minutes to that just from the beginning.
Okay.
So we're at 15 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, just to like as I'm thinking this through, I just want to do some more investigating because I also want to see okay like once I do the brazier, how can I move to where I need to move to potentially look for the easiest way to find the reliquary and the helmet.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do a bit of slinking around on the roof.
Okay. Slinking around on the roof. Again, the map that I sent you shows you basically all the entrances and exits, right? Mm-hmm. So like at each of those path points, those are the points that lead into the main buildings, and then there's the individual cells. So there's the common hall. Opposite the common hall is the scriptorium. There's the abbess's tower and the chapel. So you've investigated the chapel, and you've seen both. You've basically seen everything that there is to see in the east cloister so far, right? All the rest of the buildings that are here, like as you scan around, you're like, okay, those are probably bedrooms. That might be a kitchen, and so far you haven't investigated the abbess's tower, the common hall, or the scriptorium.
Yeah, I want to go to the abbess's tower.
Okay, so the abbess's tower is a 60-foot tall tower with 4 floors. And so the topmost does have large open windows that are illuminated, that you could possibly, again, with your climb speed, you could probably climb up the tower itself.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. At least to again, I assume there's a window. Are there windows on the outside?
So as you get up, there are windows here. But they definitely appear, but they are closed, and there are curtains drawn across them from the inside.
Okay. I'm wondering if I should even risk going in here. Do I see a lot of, in terms of the entrance and the steps below? Do I see any guards going in and out?
Oh yes. There. In fact, at the base of the tower, the entrance leading in, there are 2 more paladins.
Okay. Guys, there's a lot of guards around the tower. I assume there's something there. Maybe Lucretia's spot or her bedroom. Where I think I just need to try to go for this brazier, and I'll worry about looking at the rest later.
We're about halfway to the crater right now. I'm assuming because it's been 15 minutes. So yeah, it's up to you, but it still might take us another 20 minutes or so to get back there.
Vale, you can give me a perception check.
25.
Okay. Nearly imperceptibly, the windows of this tower, you notice etched in faint celestial runes are several glyphs, which once you see them, you can see the thrumming energy in them. Give me an Arcana check. I know that you're not probably proficient in it, but
5.
okay.
See, there is magic on these.
It's enough that you could tell Sebastian what you're seeing to maybe give him the opportunity to make a check.
Sebastian, there are glyphs on these windows, very faint.
Can you describe what they look like?
That one's really curly. That one goes up and down. That one side to side.
Curly, up and down, side to side.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's arcane runes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Roll the Arcana check, Sebastian.
26.
These are almost certainly glyphs of warding. Which, what they would do, and Sebastian, what you can surmise is if you touch these glyphs or touch the windows, they would activate, and whatever spell has been put inside the glyphs will be cast upon you.
Oh no.
And it's cast as if the caster cast it on you.
Veo, don't touch those windows.
Okay.
That's a glyph of warding. The curly and the up and down and the side to side. Definitely a glyph of warding.
So they could be explosive. They could cast some sort of spell on you. It's without further magic on site. It's you won't be able to determine what exactly the effect of the glyph would be. But it could be bad.
I think we might need me there to get us past those glyphs.
In fact, one of them, Sebastian, you think what it might be is not just a glyph of warding, but the more powerful version, which is the symbol spell. And the symbol spell can kill outright.
Yeah.
In fact, if it's a symbol of death, it would do upwards of 10d10 damage for triggering one of them.
Can I ask a question? I don't know a lot about magic.
That's not a question. That's a fact.
So, based on that, I'm sure Lucretia Mathias wouldn't want some poor follower who's like, it's stuffy in here, and they like open a window and they explode. So, are there fail-safes or tools that the followers, like how does the window know not to blow up a follower?
I'm sure it's to get in.
So, Sebastian knows that when the spell is created, it is possible to set conditions for creatures that don't trigger the glyph. Thus, it could be that the glyphs do not trigger for those who are sanctified. Or potentially for those who say a certain password. But that's tricky.
Okay,
right? So it is. So they're both symbol and glyph of warding. Sebastian can relay this that it's possible to actually make it that a follower of the Falling Fire wouldn't trigger it.
So a condition could be sanctification. So maybe stealing a piece of golden delirium, because how does the warding know if it's a person with a delirium in their chest or if it's that soul?
I mean, it's magic.
That also feels risky because if it's not sanctified and it is a password, I don't want Veo to just like blow herself up.
But could Veo, I'm just saying like Veo potentially maybe listen by like an entrance or exit point. Maybe someone has to say a password. Maybe you could learn the password because you're so stealthy.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know, and maybe if I'm wrong, but like it's something that we could maybe gain some information on.
Maybe I'll listen by the entrance for 5 or 10 minutes. As I'm, again, kind of thinking through like how I want to take out this brazier.
Well, you're outside the window on the 4th floor, right?
Yeah.
Casing around, roll me a d6.
4.
Okay. There is enough of a gap in some of the curtains that you can peer into the room just a bit. The illuminated room has a writing desk and a very simple bed. Given the amount of writing material that is in this room and what you know of Lucretia Mathias, this is almost certainly her personal chamber. It is plain, aside from all of the writing material. Clearly, Lucretia Mathias doesn't stop writing, and there are stacks and stacks of books and texts on theology and other spiritual matters. What you do see, however, is on the desk is a helmet.
Ooh. Okay, so I do see the helmet.
Oh, wow.
I also have another idea.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll work. Sebastian, maybe give some tips and tricks. You're the one that taught me this. My mage hand, I can use that to do traps, but I don't know if that works on magical traps.
Could you summon them? Okay. I'm gonna, like, again, help me out with my arcane knowledge here, but could she summon the mage hand inside the room and maybe unlock the window and open it from the inside? And would the spell then either... So part of me is wondering if from the inside it doesn't trigger, or also would it then affect the... would it trigger on the mage hand instead of on Veo?
Give me an Arcana check.
Because I will say, like, my mage hand is... I can use it to disarm traps, but it's not a typical trap. It's a magic trap, so...
But I'm wondering if even opening the window might... so I got a 21.
It's very likely that opening the window will trigger these glyphs, no matter how they're opened.
But would it trigger on Veo or on the mage hand?
It depends on what the effect is.
Yeah.
It's possible that whatever spell is, if it's an explosion, it would blow up, right?
Yeah.
Although,
Which I can do at range, but it
given the writing material, it seems unlikely that Lucretia Mathias would have an explosion happen.
yeah.
But it could even be something like an alarm or something that could turn you into something unpleasant.
Yeah.
Part of me is thinking that the windows are just out of the question, but I am wondering, okay, we know where the helmet is.
There's a single doorway that leads into the room that you can see. There's a stairwell that connects the 4 floors and then leads in.
And are these the only windows that have the glyphs? Like if I go down maybe to the 3rd floor windows, like is this the only protected level?
This level is the only one that has large windows. The other ones have the same style windows as the floors before, the more slits.
Yeah.
They're a bit wider and you might be able to go through them, but they do not have the wards.
So it's only on her floor.
So maybe go into the floor below and see if you can work your way up. I've seen cats liquid through some situations before. Can you squeeze through the windows?
I'm sure I could, but what if I get to the door and it has the same things? I think this is where we need to come afterwards, but it's good to know that that's there. I think that's something that at least, like if we can get through, I'm not going to be able to go through the window per se, unless we're getting out of there real quick, but I think it's worth noting that that's where we're going to go.
Yeah.
What I would like to do, though, is as that thought, I want to go around and essentially get a blueprint of, like, what do I see through all the windows, just to understand what's maybe on each floor, and go maybe down the back rather than the entrance side.
The floor immediately below Lucretia Mathias appears to be a very small meeting room, perhaps where Lucretia Mathias could take her supper. There is a fireplace and chimney that goes across it, and perhaps a few other of her close associates and other flame keepers could meet here, otherwise things are quite austere. The lower floor, the base floor, obviously you'd have to go down to the ground level. It doesn't have any windows, but the floor above is kind of where it connects to the rest of the rooftops. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like lowest level, ground level, 2nd level connects to the rooftops of the rest of the monastery, 3rd level, meeting room, 4th level is Lucretia Mathias's room. And so what you can probably guess is that the other rooms might be one of the other rooms looks like it is an expansion of the library, like, and the ground level looks like whatever purpose it once had, it is now a guard room for anyone coming down from above. Okay. Certainly, from all that you can guess, like putting this all together, it occurs to you that Lucretia Mathias has probably considered the possibility that somebody as capable as the Queen of Thieves might try to take her life. Mm. And given the level of defenses that are here, you're like, this would be bad for even Cat.
Yeah. She is prepared to deal with high-level magic users.
Like looking at all this through, like the only advantage that probably Cat has over you is that Cat probably has the tools to deal with magical traps because of her spellcasting capabilities. But even then, like, you know, like Lucretia Mathias these are the defenses of someone who is particularly worried about an assassin of your caliber being sent to kill them.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think I know how I want to do the brazier.
Okay.
I think. I'm gonna give it a go at least. So I'm gonna head back to the opening at the.
Walk me through what you want to do, because then I might shift over to these gents.
Okay. I'm thinking I crawl inside through the smoke, and go down invisibly as close as I can to the brazier. And I want to start by doing maybe a thunder step to do some damage to it, and then teleport back out. Not out, but like up. So that way, again, there's no confusion of like I'm standing right in the middle of the thunder step. I don't know if that's going to put out the fire, but I want to do some damage to the brazier, if possible.
Certainly, just dealing damage to it could do a lot.
Okay.
It's always an option to just deal damage to it. It's gonna be pretty resistant to piercing damage.
Yeah.
But what about thunder damage?
Thunder damage, on the other hand, well, considering that there's a lot of delirium around here, and that delirium is generally damaged by thunder damage, that actually could be pretty effective.
Yeah. So if I sneak down, get there, and Thunderstep gets me out of
Could
there
Veo
too.
make a bomb out of like delirium that she gathers? Kind of like wrap a bunch of.
I'm making that into the bomb.
Yeah,
I
like
think I'm
and you could
exploding.
add to it. You know what I'm saying? Like like what if you
if you
gathered a bunch
have
of
any delirium in your possession that you wanted, because if you intentionally blew up some delirium crystals in the process, that could be bad.
I think if let me just look.
Good for us. Bad for braziers.
I have some written down. I just don't know if we sold them at some point. So.
I don't think we've sold delirium in a while.
It says I have 6 fragments and 4 crystals on my list.
Okay. So every crystal that you want to put down, I will give. I'll amp up the damage, and we can roll some arcane anomalies.
Just put it all in a
All of
bag.
it, yeah.
Just put it all in a bag. Wrap
like-
it all up. Make your little.
We're getting rid of it anyways, I guess. So
Okay.
I grab a little. I'll do 4. What? Crystals are bigger than fragments.
Crystals
so
are the big one.
I'm gonna do 4 crystals, guys.
Do it, and throw your fragments in too.
Okay.
Fill in the gaps.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
6 fragments, 4 crystals.
All right. So that is Veo's plan.
Veo, I love it.
So you're gonna teleport up, blow up the brazier with a bunch of delirium, and then cast darkness on it, and that's gonna be your move.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I guess when I'm looking at Dispel Magic, it's 120 feet. So I can go on the roof and then cast it from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Not that the roof may be there after. We'll see.
Okay.
How tall? Actually, how far up is it?
It's only 60 feet tall.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
oh yes.
Actually, it's not even that, because the Abyss's tower is 60 feet tall, and it's the tallest building here. Yeah.
Maybe
You're
from the
welcome.
edge of the whatever's left of the building.
Because
Okay.
Thunderstep is 90 feet that you can teleport as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're well within your range there. Okay.
Okay.
Let's move on to these two.
I'm excited hearing your. I've got a hop in my step and a song in my heart.
This is Operation Mayhem 2.0. So
I'm getting
I mean,
pumped.
It's
Okay,
gonna
On the way
get
to the
messy.
crater. I'm. Yeah, this is gonna be good. You're gonna blow stuff up.
Okay. You two head towards the crater. What are you gonna do?
Looking for anything big and gross.
My goal is to make it to the crater, and then I want a worm.
You want a worm?
I want a worm.
Okay. Tell me how you're gonna go get some worms.
Okay.
we
no.
go to the-
Okay.
you-
No. I've
have an
been
idea.
thinking about this the whole
You have
time.
an idea. I had an
stick to
idea.
the
I
ground.
want to hear your idea.
Okay. Will you allow me to use mold earth on the ground in the crater to go boom, 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 boom?
And I'm gonna stomp beside it. And we're just trying to create tremors in the ground.
You got anything that's more than a cantrip?
You really want me to eat up these spell slots, aren't you? Not that affects. I mean, that's my earth cantrip.
Do you need something big to make noise?
We need noise.
Again, I use cantrips for noise.
Yeah, but what makes noise?
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go find. You know when you see like in the ruins, I want to look for something that's precarious, like a big tower of something that's sort of like damaged at the bottom, and I want to push something big over.
Okay.
Or a rock.
Here's the challenge. The crater basin is ground zero.
Yeah.
Buildings of that size were annihilated.
Okay.
Okay? But in terms of big things that make a lot of noise when they blow up,
Oh, yeah. We shoot a big chunk of delirium.
Can I shoot a magic missile at a shard of delirium? Or like a giant, like I find like a big, and we stand back. We stand, hold on.
I put my helmet on.
120 feet back.
119 feet.
119 feet back. And I'm going to shoot a magic missile.
What else is in your staff? Do you have anything cool in your staff?
I mean, I could like go big and...
I say we go big.
Scrolls do?
We're trying to make a noise, baby.
Don't forget your scrolls.
I could blast it with a lightning bolt.
Oh, yeah.
But again, like, I've used a lot of spell slots. That will put me down to only 5 charges left on my staff.
What else are we gonna use it for?
okay.
The upcoming, like, 18 battles that we have to get through before we leave Drakkenheim.
Here in the crater basin,
They come back.
the two of you can descend down into the crater basin.
They come back at dawn.
There are massive clusters of delirium down here. If you guys want to blow up one of these shards to attract a crater worm, okay? You gotta tell me how you're gonna do 50 points of damage to one of these massive clusters in a single round.
If you hit it with a lightning bolt, I'm gonna throw my javelin of lightning at the same time, activating it.
Okay, yeah, we'll do lightning bolt and the javelin of lightning.
Okay.
And we strike like just from a little bit beside each other.
Yeah.
We hit the same giant shard of delirium.
Okay.
I will use that.
You blow. All right.
So I do 4d6 plus a couple of points of damage, and you're doing what?
8d8.
Okay. Both of you can roll me a d6.
Come on, Crater Worm.
4.
3.
Okay.
And just to be clear, like Crater Worm is like top tier, but I want some scavengers too.
Okay.
I want to bring all the heat.
All right. The shard of delirium ignites.
Yeah. My range is 120 feet too.
Both of you can roll me a d100. Because we now have the d100 version of the arcane anomalies table.
Yeah.
So 8d6, not 8d8. A d100?
I got. I'll wait for you to roll, and then I'll just in case we roll the same.
Yeah, 12.
I got 34.
Okay.
This is going
34 and 12.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect. Nothing bad will happen.
Okay. Sebastian, a prismatic burst of energy erupts in a 20-foot radius, exploding outward. So I'm gonna say that this does hit you both.
Okay.
And I need you both to give me Constitution saving throws.
There's a big chunk of delirium.
We should have stood back 123 feet.
I got an 18.
I got a 14.
You both succeed. You got a 14?
Yeah.
Oh, you fail. So you take 28 radiant damage.
Ow!
Sebastian, you take 14, which gets doubled to 28. And Pluto, you're blinded for 1 round.
Do I have advantage on saving throws?
And Pluto, I need
When
a
I
con
still-
save
when I have
for
hit
Veo's
points?
invisibility.
Yeah, I think that's still.
Oh,
You'd have to ask
yeah.
Mike if it's still in.
What's up?
Do her temporary hit points from the commander seal go away after a certain amount of time?
After a long rest, yeah.
So you
We never.
What did you get for con?
I got a 16, so
You're
I can
fine.
make it.
Yeah.
Okay, so do I still take half damage though, even if
Yeah.
I do succeed? So
Yeah.
no matter what, I'm taking that.
Just
Okay.
eat it. Just eat the radiant.
All right.
And Sebastian,
Yeah.
the other objects and shards and rocks around the geode as it explodes, they all come to life for the next hour as it's affected by animate objects. And they all start mumbling awful truths like you'll never amount to anything with your life. And the mistakes that you have haunt you for the rest of existence.
Come along, intrusive thoughts.
To
war!
To war!
But the cacophony of the explosion and the intrusive thoughts, both of you can roll me 2d6.
Double 6s.
Okay.
A 5 and a 6.
All right.
That's 3 6s between 4 dice.
That might be a good or a bad thing.
Come on, 2 crater worms. Twin dominate monster.
No, I'm going to.
Do you have enough?
2 crater worms emerge from
Mom and a baby.
from the ruins. Yeah, this is. I remember when I first got this one, I'm like, that's such a cool mini, and then the new one comes out, and it's like, yeah, okay, yeah. So it's
We have crater worms at home.
don't talk to me or my son ever again. You versus the guy she tells you not to worry about.
Yeah. Crater worm.
As soon as don't attack, I yell, "Don't attack!"
I'm so tempted.
As they emerge. All right. I only get 1 shot at this.
This is all like look. You heard Lucretia Mathias. Her belief is what's doing it for her. We gotta believe so much harder than her, and I believe in Veo. And I believe in the people of Drakkenheim, and I believe in Wrath probably being okay, but most importantly, from the very beginning, I believed in you.
With that power, the first thing that happens is next to the crater worm as it emerges, a portal opens and you hear a dog barking.
Ow.
To try to to draw their attention to
Okay.
what is that, which gives them disadvantage. Well, gives
1.
the big guy disadvantage on its saving throw. And then I'm going to twin. This is all of the remaining. This is all of my sorcery points are gone.
Okay.
This is so worth it.
And I twin dominate monster on the 2 crater worms. One of them has disadvantage. It's a DC 22 Wisdom saving throw.
Okay. You needed the disadvantage.
Did they both
fail.
So then Pluto and I start running alongside these crater worms. My intrusive thoughts shambling along beside us.
Yeah, the animated intrusive thought rocks are following you.
And
you shouldn't have been able to do this. You're still.
You've wasted your life.
Yeah, I hand Pluto a rope, and I forgot to mention this, but while we were on our way, I have cobbler's tools, so on either end of my rope, I attach a chisel or something.
Cobbler's tools.
I
Those
don't.
are for shoes.
Yeah, and I'm using my shoehorns as hooks.
Shoelaces.
Shoehorn hooks on my rope.
Shoelace reins. So the 2 of you can each ride on one of the worms.
Yeah, and we hop up on, and we stand on the worms, and we start riding them back towards.
As fast as we can, straight towards the compound.
Get ready! Get ready!
Veo, I don't know what we're doing, but it's
Veo, as soon as you hear "Get ready, Veo," in the distance you hear a rumbling.
yeah. There's a tremor.
Roof, like,
Yeah, there's tremors starting.
And on that is where we'll end for today.
Oh no! I love it. I can't believe it worked.
That use a lot of resources,
It's worth
but
it.
it's so worth it.
So good.
Oh, and Reaper's running along with us too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my ape.
And you're-
My ape is riding in front of me.
I imagine you take a cowboy hat out and you're like, do.
Oh yeah, no, the goggles are fully on, and he's just, Pluto, let's
hair
go!
blowing.
Yeah,
Oh, what a day. What a lovely day.
yeah. Oh man, what a lovely day. Oh, we're mixing so many genres and movies.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Mad Max. Actually, Mad Max plus Dune feels like a.
I mean, yeah, we're doing Mad Max Dune.
This feels great.
This is Fury Road.
I'm doing Mission Impossible.
Yeah. Veo. I'm so sorry, Veo. We're
Well-
coming.
Why?
We're coming.
This is great.
This might be my favorite episode of Drakkenheim ever.
We should ride the. You should ride the worm up the tower
and then just bite.
burst
The
through
helmet.
the window, and then you just like walk down it.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay. Alrighty. Well,
Thank you.
with that chaos coming, a big thank you to our incredible cast, Jill, Kelly, and Joe, for playing today.
And a huge thank you to Kyle for all of his help behind the scenes.
Thank you, Kyle.
And a big thank you to our Dungeon Master,
Yeah.
Monty Martin, for letting me ride a crater worm.
For letting us do all this.
And for letting Veo have one of the best infiltration scenes that I think we've actually successfully had in this show. So
We infiltrated something.
We did it.
thanks for running all of that.
Only took us, what, 3
years.
200 episodes and 300 seasons.
The road got to
200 episodes and 3 seasons, yeah.
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 And a big thank you to all the incredible creators. Like, look at this wonderful crater worm.
Yeah,
The Dwarven Forge
The
setups
Dwarven
were
Forge,
amazing.
unreal. The miniatures by Hero Forge and WizKids. The player character artwork by Elizabeth Pro and music by Tabletop Audio. Go and check out and support some of these amazing creators.
Of course, don't forget to look at the links below for our Teespring store where you can find all of your favorite Dungeon Dudes shirts, like what's the worst that can happen, which should be what's the best that can happen. Riding a crater worm.
Worm.
Check it out on bit.ly/Dungeon Dudes merch. And of course, if you want to bring riding giant crater worms to your table, check out Drakkenheim.com where you can bring Drakkenheim home with you.
And as well, one of the best ways that you can support the channel is by signing up for our Patreon. The links are down below.
And you can also join our patron-exclusive Discord, where you can chat with us about all things nerdy and D&D and all of that.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time in Drakkenheim.